The day I watched Amara Washington walk past me like I was invisible, I made a decision that would either win her heart or destroy my reputation at the most elite prep school in Boston. But 6 weeks later, when I found the racist notes someone had been leaving in her locker, I realized winning her over was nothing compared to the war I was about to start. What I didn't expect was that going to war for her would reveal a secret about my own family that made me question everything I thought I knew about loyalty, love, and what it actually costs to stand up for someone when the entire world expects you to sit down. Before we continue with how I went from invisible to her protector, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss how this unfolds. Let me back up 6 weeks, to the day I transferred to Eastwood International Prep with the kind of reputation that usually opened doors before I even knocked. My family owned half the commercial real estate in Boston. My face had been in society magazines since I was 12. Within a week, I'd been offered positions on 3 sports teams, invited to exclusive parties, and had my phone filled with numbers I never asked for. None of it mattered, because Amara Washington, the only black student I'd seen at Eastwood, sitting 3 rows ahead of me in advanced literature with her natural hair pulled into a high puff, acted like I didn't exist. "You're staring again," his friend Jason Park muttered during lunch, following Marcus's gaze to where Amara sat alone in the library courtyard, textbook open, noise-canceling headphones firmly in place. "I'm observing," Marcus corrected, not bothering to look away. "That's literally the definition of staring, man." Marcus ignored him. He'd spent 6 weeks trying to figure out Amara Washington, and he'd learned exactly 3 things. She volunteered at the community center every Tuesday and Thursday. She studied at the coffee shop on Newberry Street every Saturday morning, and she had 0 interest in him. That last part was the most fascinating. "Why don't you just talk to her?" Jason asked, stealing a fry from Marcus's untouched plate. "I tried that," she said, "excuse me," and walked around me. Ouch. Then I tried sitting near her in the library. And? She moved. Jason laughed. "Maybe she's just not interested, dude. There are literally 50 girls who would—" "I don't want 50 girls." Marcus's voice was quiet but firm. "I want to know why she looks at everyone else like we're all performing in some play she didn't audition for." The truth was, Marcus had been performing his entire life. Perfect son, perfect student, perfect heir to the Chen fortune. Everything calculated, everything measured, everything designed to meet expectations he'd stopped questioning years ago. Amara didn't perform. She just existed, completely comfortable in her own skin, completely uninterested in the social theater. That consumed Eastwood Prep. It was the most attractive thing Marcus had ever seen. The breakthrough came on a Wednesday afternoon, completely by accident. Marcus had stayed late working on student council business. He'd been elected president within 3 weeks of transferring, because of course he had, when he heard music coming from the art room. Not the classical pieces that usually echoed through Eastwood's hallways, but something with soul, with depth, with feeling. He found Amara inside, painting. She'd transformed the entire canvas into a vibrant explosion of color and movement, abstract figures that somehow conveyed more emotion than any realistic portrait could. She painted like she did everything else, completely absorbed, completely present, completely herself. Marcus stood in the doorway for a full minute before she noticed him. When she did, her hand froze mid-stroke. "The building's closing soon." "I know. I was finishing council work." He gestured to the painting. "That's incredible." Amara's expression didn't change. "Thanks." She turned back to her work, a clear dismissal. Marcus should have left, should have respected the boundary she was obviously setting, should have added this to his list of failed attempts and moved on. Instead, he stepped into the room. "Why do you do that?" The question came out before he could stop it. Do what? Amara's voice was carefully neutral, her attention still on the canvas. Act like I'm trying to sell you something. Like every conversation is a transaction you want no part of. Finally, she looked at him. Really looked at him. Her dark eyes were sharp, assessing, and completely unimpressed. Because boys like you treat girls like acquisitions, she said simply. You see something you want, you pursue it until you get it. And then you move on to the next shiny thing. I'm not interested in being collected. The honesty of it hit Marcus like a physical blow. That's not... He stopped, because wasn't that exactly what his friends did? Wasn't that the pattern he'd witnessed his entire life? You're right. Amara blinked, clearly not expecting agreement. I mean, you're right about most guys. Probably right to be cautious. Marcus moved closer, keeping his voice steady. But you're wrong about me. Or at least, wrong about my intentions with you. Really? Her tone was flat, skeptical. And what are your intentions, Marcus Chen? Hearing his name from her lips sent an unexpected jolt through his chest. I want to know you, he said simply. Not collect you, not conquer you, not whatever else you're thinking. I want to know why you paint instead of going to parties. I want to know what you're always reading that's so much more interesting than everything else. I want to know why you're at this school when you clearly think we're all ridiculous. You are all ridiculous, Amara said, but there was the tiniest hint of amusement in her voice. See? That's what I mean. Marcus couldn't help but smile. You're honest. Everyone else here is so busy managing their image, they forget to be real. You don't do that. Amara set down her brush, crossing her arms. You don't know anything about me. I know you volunteer at the Roxbury Community Center twice a week. I know you're reading Toni Morrison in class when you're supposed to be reading Fitzgerald. I know you take your coffee black with 1 sugar every Saturday morning at that place on Newbury Street. Her eyes widened slightly. Have you been stalking me? Observing, Marcus corrected, echoing his earlier conversation with Jason. There's a difference. That's literally the definition of stalking. That's what Jason said about staring. Despite herself, Amara laughed. It was quick, surprised, genuine, and Marcus felt like he'd won something more valuable than any election or award. You're persistent, she said. You say that like it's a bad thing. It usually is. Persistent. Guys are usually just entitled guys who don't hear no. Then tell me no. Marcus held her gaze. If you're genuinely not interested, tell me directly, and I promise I'll leave you alone. But if you're just protecting yourself from getting hurt, or from dealing with drama, or from whatever else you're worried about, then give me a chance to prove I'm different. Amara studied him for a long moment. Marcus could see the debate happening behind her eyes, could see her weighing risk against possibility. 1 coffee, she finally said, this Saturday. You show up late, you play games, you try to turn it into something it's not. We're done. Deal. Marcus's heart was racing, but he kept his voice calm. 9 a.m.? 9:30. I like to sleep in on weekends. 9:30, Marcus agreed. I'll be there at 9:20. You'll be there at 9:30, Amara corrected, picking up her brush again. I meant what I said about games. Marcus nodded, backing toward the door before he could say something to ruin this. 9:30, not a second earlier. As he left, he heard her voice call out behind him. Marcus? He turned back. Don't wear the designer everything, it's intimidating. And not in the way you think. He grinned. Noted. Saturday morning, Marcus showed up at exactly 9:30 wearing his oldest jeans and a plain black t-shirt. Amara was already there, tucked into a corner booth with a book. When she looked up and saw him, something shifted in her expression. Not quite approval, but close. You listened, she said as he slid into the seat across from her. You gave me advice. Would be stupid to ignore it. Most guys would have, then claimed they forgot or didn't think it mattered. I'm not most guys. You keep saying that, haven't proven it yet. Marcus ordered coffee, black with 1 sugar, matching hers, and for a moment, they just sat in comfortable silence. Around them, the cafe buzzed with weekend energy, but their corner felt separate, insulated. So, Amara said eventually, closing her book. Marcus Chen, student council president, basketball star, society page fixture. What do you actually want from life? The question caught him off guard, not because it was difficult, but because no one had ever asked him that before. Everyone just assumed they knew. I don't know, he admitted. Is that pathetic? It's honest. Amara sipped her coffee. Better than pretending you have it all figured out. What about you? Med school. Probably Columbia or NYU. I want to be a surgeon. Specifically, I want to work with underserved communities. She said it with absolute certainty. No hesitation, no doubt. That's incredible, Marcus said, and meant it. It's practical. I'm good at science. I want to help people. It makes sense. It's more than practical. It's purposeful. He leaned forward. When did you know? Amara's expression softened slightly. My dad's military. We moved around a lot when I was younger. I saw how healthcare access changes depending on where you are, who you are. Saw people suffer because they couldn't afford treatment, or didn't have transportation, or didn't trust the system. She shrugged. Figured I could help change that. Your dad's military? That must have been hard, moving all the time. It was what it was. You adapt. But Marcus could hear the weight behind those words, could see the cost of all that adapting in the set of her shoulders. They talked for 3 hours. Marcus learned about Amara's childhood moving from base to base, about being the only black girl in predominantly white schools, about her mother who worked as a teacher, and her younger brother who wanted to be an engineer. He learned about her love for painting as escape, about books as refuge, about the loneliness of always being different. Amara learned about Marcus's family expectations, about the weight of being the heir to a fortune he didn't build, about his parents, divorce when he was 10, about the way money could buy almost anything except freedom. She learned about his love for architecture, about dreams of designing buildings that weren't just functional but meaningful, about the guilt of having everything when others had nothing. That's why you volunteer, Amara said suddenly, at the community center. You're trying to balance the scales. Marcus nodded slowly. My family takes so much. I wanted to give something back, even if it's just time. That's actually admirable. You sound surprised. I am, Amara admitted. Rich kids don't usually think that way. Maybe you've been meeting the wrong rich kids. She smiled, a real smile this time, warm and genuine. Maybe I have. When they finally left the cafe, Marcus walked her to the tea station. At the entrance, Amara turned to him. This was nice, she said carefully. Nice enough for a repeat? She considered. Maybe, if you continue not being terrible. High praise. Don't get cocky, Chen. You're on probation. But she was smiling when she said it, and Marcus felt something settle in his chest, something that felt suspiciously like hope. The next 3 weeks changed everything. Coffee on Saturday mornings became their routine, then study sessions in the library, then volunteering together at the community center, where Marcus discovered Amara tutored kids in math and science with infinite patience. At school, people noticed. Marcus Chen and Amara Washington? He heard someone whisper in the hallway. That's random. She's really pretty, though. I heard his parents are going to freak. You know how those old money families are about. The sentence trailed off, but Marcus knew how it ended. His jaw tightened. But Amara's hand on his arm stopped him from turning around. "Not worth it," she murmured. "Trust me." But it bothered him. Bothered him that people talked. Bothered him that Amara expected it, was so used to it that she didn't even flinch. "Does that happen a lot?" he asked later, when they were alone. "More than you'd think. Less than it used to." Amara's voice was matter of fact. "People see interracial couples. They have opinions. Add in your family's status. My being the only black student here. It's basically gossip gold. It's nobody's business. No, but it'll be everyone's interest anyway." She looked at him seriously. "Marcus, I need you to understand something. If we do this, if we actually try, it's going to get complicated. People will talk. Some will be cruel. Your family might have issues. Are you ready for that?" Marcus didn't hesitate. "I'm ready for you. Everything else is just noise." "You say that now. I'll say it every day if you need me to." He took her hand, threading their fingers together. "Amara, I've spent my whole life doing what's expected. Dating who's appropriate, following the path everyone laid out. I'm tired of it. You make me feel like I can breathe." Amara's eyes searched his face. Whatever she saw there must have satisfied her, because she squeezed his hand. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's try." Their first kiss happened 2 days later, in the art room where they'd had their first real conversation. Amara had been showing Marcus her latest painting, something abstract and beautiful that he didn't fully understand but loved anyway, when he'd simply leaned in. She'd frozen for half a second, then kissed him back. It was soft and tentative and perfect. "Been wanting to do that for weeks," Marcus admitted when they broke apart. "I know. You're not subtle. Should I apologize?" "Don't you dare." They smiled at each other, and Marcus felt something slot into place in his chest. Something that felt like coming home. The trouble started 3 weeks into their relationship. Marcus first noticed the change when Amara stopped meeting his eyes in the hallway. When she started making excuses to cut their coffee dates short. When she flinched every time someone looked at them too long. "What's wrong?" he finally asked, cornering her after class. "Nothing." "Don't do that. Don't shut me out." Amara glanced around the emptying hallway, then pulled him into an empty classroom. "Someone's been leaving notes in my locker." Marcus's blood ran cold. "What kind of notes?" "The kind that suggest I should know my place and stop climbing where I don't belong." Her voice was steady, but Marcus could see the hurt beneath it. "The kind that use words I'm not going to repeat." Rage flooded through Marcus, hot and immediate. "Who?" "I don't know. They're not signed." "Show me." Amara hesitated, then pulled several crumpled papers from her bag. Marcus read them, each word making his fury burn hotter. They were vile, racist, cruel, designed to hurt and intimidate. "How long has this been happening?" 2 weeks. 2 weeks. "Amara, why didn't you tell me?" "Because I knew you'd react like this." She gestured, at his clenched fists, his rigid posture. "Marcus, I've dealt with this my whole life. I don't need a savior." "I'm not trying to save you. I'm trying to support you. There's a difference." "Is there?" Her voice rose slightly. "Because from where I'm standing, you look like every other guy who thinks his girlfriend needs protection and defense instead of partnership and respect." The word girlfriend sent a thrill through Marcus despite the situation, but he forced himself to focus. "You're right," he said, deliberately unclenching his fists. "I'm sorry. Tell me what you need." Amara blinked, clearly surprised by the quick agreement. I need you to not make this a thing. Don't start some crusade. Don't try to figure out who it is. It'll only make it worse." "Amara, promise me, Marcus." He wanted to argue, wanted to use every resource at his disposal to find whoever was doing this and make them pay. But Amara was looking at him with such intensity, such need that he couldn't refuse. "I promise," he said reluctantly, "but if it escalates, we'll deal with it together. Okay?" "Together," Marcus agreed. He kept his promise for exactly 4 days. Then he found Amara in the bathroom, crying over a note that had been slipped into her backpack during lunch. That's when Marcus stopped caring about promises. Marcus called an emergency student council meeting that afternoon. "We have a serious problem," he announced to the assembled officers. "Someone is targeting a student with racist harassment, notes, threats, intimidation. It stops now." His vice president, Sarah Chen, no relation, leaned forward. "Do we know who?" "Not yet. But we're going to find out." Marcus pulled out his phone, texting his friend David Park. "I'm authorizing the use of security footage. I'm also implementing a new reporting system for harassment, anonymous tips, direct line to administration." "Marcus," Sarah said carefully, "is this about Amara Washington?" The room went quiet. "This is about protecting every student at Eastwood," Marcus said firmly. "But yes, Amara's been receiving threats, and I will not let it continue." Within 24 hours, Marcus had mobilized every resource at his disposal. His family's lawyer drafted new anti-harassment policies. David, a tech genius, hacked into the school's security system and began reviewing footage. The administration, motivated by a generous Chen family donation, agreed to implement stricter consequences for discrimination. Amara found out 2 days later. "What did you do?" She cornered him outside the library, eyes blazing. "I protected you. I told you not to make this a thing. And I told you I'd keep you safe." Marcus kept his voice low but intense. "Amara, those notes weren't just mean, they were threatening. I'm not going to stand by while someone terrorizes you. You promised." "I know. And I'm sorry I broke that promise. But I'm not sorry I kept you safe." Amara stared at him, emotions warring across her face, anger, frustration, and underneath it all, something that looked suspiciously like relief. "You're infuriating," she finally said. "I know. And overbearing. Also true. And you completely steamrolled my wishes." "Yes. But..." She exhaled slowly. "Thank you. I hate that I need to say it, but thank you." Marcus reached for her hand. "You don't need me to protect you, but you have me anyway. That's what this is." "What is this exactly?" Amara's voice was quieter now, vulnerable. "This is me falling completely in love with you," Marcus said simply. "This is me realizing I'd burn down the whole school if it meant keeping you safe. This is me choosing you every single time, no matter what." Amara's breath caught. "Marcus, you don't have to say it back. I just need you to know." But she stepped closer, cupping his face in her hands. "I love you too, you impossible man. Even when you're infuriating and overbearing and completely disregard what I ask." He kissed her then, soft and deep, pouring everything he felt into that connection. "We found him, by the way," Marcus murmured against her lips. "The person leaving notes. Senior named Trevor Michaels. Basketball player." Amara tensed. "What are you going to do?" "Nothing. The administration's handling it. He'll be suspended, then expelled if it continues. His college recommendations are being pulled." Marcus pulled back to look at her. "But if you want me to do more?" "No, that's enough." She leaned her forehead against his. "That's more than enough." The real test came when Marcus's mother requested dinner. "She wants to meet you," Marcus told Amara over coffee. "Officially." Amara's expression was carefully neutral. "And you want me to go?" "Only if you're comfortable. But yes, I want my family to know you, to see what I see." "What do you see?" Everything, Marcus said simply. I see my future. The dinner was at the Chen family estate in Brookline, a sprawling mansion that made Amara visibly uncomfortable. Marcus held her hand as they walked to the door, squeezing gently. Just be yourself, he whispered. That's all I need. His mother, Eleanor Chen, greeted them with a polite smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She was elegant, poised, and clearly evaluating every detail of Amara's appearance. Miss Washington, how lovely to meet you. Mrs. Chen, thank you for inviting me. Dinner was excruciating. Eleanor asked pointed questions about Amara's family background, her academic achievements, her plans for the future. Every question felt like a test, every answer scrutinized for worthiness. Your father is military? Eleanor said, sipping her wine. What rank? Colonel. He's currently stationed at Fort Bragg. I see. And your mother? She teaches at a public elementary school in Roxbury. Eleanor's expression flickered, something between surprise and disapproval. How civic-minded. Marcus's jaw tightened, but Amara squeezed his knee under the table. A silent message. I've got this. My mother believes education is the foundation of opportunity, Amara said smoothly. She's dedicated her life to ensuring children have access to quality learning, regardless of their circumstances. I'm incredibly proud of her work. Of course. Eleanor dabbed her mouth with her napkin. And you're interested in medicine? Yes, ma'am. I'm planning to study pre-med at Columbia, then attend medical school. My goal is to become a surgeon working with underserved communities. Ambitious. Eleanor's tone suggested this might not be a compliment. Marcus mentioned you volunteer together? At the Roxbury Community Center. We tutor students and help with after-school programs. Eleanor turned to Marcus. I wasn't aware you'd taken such an interest in community service. Amara inspired me, Marcus said firmly. She's taught me more about purpose and giving back than anyone else in my life. The statement hung in the air, an implicit criticism that Eleanor clearly caught. After dinner, as Marcus walked Amara to her car, she was quiet. Your mother hates me, she finally said. She doesn't know you yet. She will. Marcus, be realistic. I'm not what she wants for you. Not the right background, not the right connections, not the right color? Marcus finished bluntly. I know, and I don't care. But she does. Then she'll have to get used to disappointment. He pulled Amara close. I meant what I said in there. You've changed my life. You've made me want to be better, do better, mean something beyond just carrying on the family name. My mother will come around, or she won't. Either way, I'm choosing you. Amara's eyes glistened. You can't just cut off your family for me. I'm not cutting anyone off. I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference. He kissed her forehead. I love you, Amara Washington. That's not changing. The harassment stopped after Trevor's expulsion, but the damage lingered. Amara became more withdrawn, more cautious. She stopped painting in the art room, stopped eating lunch in the courtyard, stopped being as openly herself as she'd been before. It broke Marcus's heart. Talk to me, he said one afternoon, finding her alone in the library. About what? About whatever's going on in your head that's making you disappear. Amara closed her book slowly. I'm tired, Marcus. Tired of being watched. Tired of being judged. Tired of feeling like I have to prove I belong here, that I deserve you, that I'm good enough for all of this. You are good enough. You're better than all of us combined. That's not how the world sees it. Then the world is wrong. She smiled sadly. You make it sound so simple. It is simple. I love you. You love me. Everything else is just noise we can tune out. But I can't tune it out. Her voice rose, frustration finally breaking through. Every day, someone's staring. Every day I hear whispers. Every day, I wonder when the next threat will come. Who'll decide I'm stepping too far above my station? What new way someone will find to remind me I'm different? Marcus felt helpless, furious, desperate to fix something he couldn't control. "What do you need?" he asked quietly. "I need." Amara trailed off thinking, "I need to get out of here, even just for a day, somewhere we can just be us without all the weight." Before we continue with their escape and what comes next, hit that like button if you're invested in Marcus and Amara's journey. Their story is about to face its biggest challenge yet. Marcus made it happen within 48 hours. He borrowed his father's car, packed a picnic, and drove them to Cape Cod on a Saturday morning. They spent the day walking the beach, eating lobster rolls, watching the ocean, and just existing without performance or pressure. "This is perfect," Amara said, sitting in the sand, as the sun set. "This is what I needed." Marcus wrapped his arms around her from behind. "Then we'll do it again. Every weekend if you want. Your mother will love that. My mother will adjust." He kissed her temple. "You're my priority now." That night, driving back to Boston, Amara's phone buzzed. Her expression changed as she read the message. "What is it?" "My dad. He's being deployed. Afghanistan. Leaves in 2 weeks." Marcus heard the fear in her voice, the worry she tried to hide. "How long?" 6 months minimum. Could be longer." He reached over, taking her hand. "We'll get through it." "Marcus, I can't deal with school drama and worry about my dad getting killed overseas. I can't." Her voice cracked. "Hey." Marcus pulled over, turning to face her. "Listen to me. You're not alone in this. Whatever you need. Support, distraction, space, company, I'm here. We'll get through it together." Amara leaned into him, and Marcus held her as she cried. Held her as I released all the fear and stress and pressure she'd been carrying. Held her until she was ready to let go. The deployment created an unexpected shift in their relationship. Marcus met Amara's father before he left, a formal, intimidating meeting where Colonel Washington made his expectations abundantly clear. "My daughter is the most important person in my world," the colonel said, standing at his full 6'3" height. "I'm trusting you to respect her, support her, and never give her reason to doubt you. Can you do that?" "Yes, sir," Marcus said without hesitation. "I love your daughter. I'll take care of her." Love is easy to say. Commitment is harder to prove. "Then I'll prove it every day, sir." Colonel Washington studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "I believe you will. But Marcus, if you hurt her, there's nowhere you can hide. Understood?" "Understood, sir." After her father deployed, Amara threw herself into school and college applications. She and Marcus spent nearly every evening together, studying, talking, simply existing in each other's presence. "Columbia released early decisions next week," Amara mentioned one night, looking nervous. "You're going to get in," Marcus said confidently. "You don't know that." "Yes, I do. You're brilliant, dedicated, and exactly what they're looking for." "What about you? Did you apply?" Marcus hesitated. "I did. Architecture program." Amara's eyes widened. "You didn't tell me. I wanted to surprise you, wanted to know we could be in New York together before I said anything." "Marcus Chen, are you following me to college? I'm pursuing my dreams in the same city as yours. There's a difference." She kissed him, deep and passionate. "I love you. I love you more." Impossible. They got their acceptance letters the same day. Both had been admitted to Columbia, Amara to the pre-med program, Marcus to architecture school. They celebrated with champagne smuggled from Marcus's family estate and plans for their future. "We're really doing this," Amara said, lying in Marcus's arms. "Moving to New York, starting our lives together." Marcus added. Together, she agreed. The winter formal arrived with all its expected drama. Everyone assumed Marcus and Amara would attend, the power couple of Eastwood Prep, making their official debut. But Amara had other ideas. Let's skip it, she said a week before the dance. Skip the formal? Everyone's expecting us. Exactly. Let them expect. I'd rather spend the evening with just you. No performance, no cameras, no judgment. Just us. Marcus didn't need convincing. The night of the formal, while their classmates danced in the hotel ballroom, Marcus and Amara had dinner at a quiet Italian restaurant in the North End. They talked about their futures, their fears, their dreams for New York. I'm scared, Amara admitted over tiramisu. Scared of leaving my mom and brother, scared of being so far from my dad, while he's deployed. Scared of failing at Columbia. You won't fail, you're incapable of failing. Everyone's capable of failing, Marcus. Then we'll fail together. He reached across the table, taking her hand. Amara, I need you to understand something. Whatever happens in New York, whatever challenges we face, I'm committed. To you, to us, to building something real. You sound so certain. Because I am. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. She smiled, squeezing his hand. What did I do to deserve you? You were yourself. That's all you ever had to do. They spent the rest of the evening walking through Boston Common, bundled in winter coats, talking and laughing and planning. It was perfect in its simplicity, meaningful in its intimacy. This is better than any dance, Amara said, leaning against Marcus as they watched the city lights. This is everything, Marcus agreed. If you loved Marcus and Amara's journey from that first ignored encounter to building their family, make sure you're subscribed for more stories of love that conquers all. Drop a comment telling us your favorite moment. Was it their first kiss in the art room? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next story.